I just got to play by ear because this is messing up on my side. All right, thank you. Welcome to Ring Takes here, episode 59. Of course, I'm Daniel, joined by Brian and Lewis. A little different setup because I'm at my night job right now before I take shift. But getting into the world of wrestling, guys, I want to call this one a new era in WWE. That's been the big vocal point on WWE so far this week, ever since WrestleMania. Basically, this is the new era, Triple H's new era of WWE. Um, in breaching into new form of WWE with the presentation, blood being back, new championships we're going to be talking about, heel turns. But first, let's get into Rhea Ripley relinquishing the women's world title. An injury sustained last week in an altercation that she had with Liv Morgan. Which really sucks because Rhea Ripley basically a year as champion. She won at WrestleMania 39, just recently defended it at WrestleMania 40 in a good match against Becky Lynch, a great match against Becky Lynch. Having to drop that title, what do you guys think about her relinquishing the title at this time, the injury and the course of the women's world title on Raw?
Well, this is definitely a heartbreaking injury. We definitely know that Rhea has been, in my opinion, the not only top woman on Raw but top woman in WWE as far as character. The fact that she's been able to take this heel persona, kind of being essentially the leader of Judgment Day, and now to the fact that it's gotten over with the fans, where people think you got the mommy chants going. I mean, when she was making her announcement, you can literally tell that the fans really were disappointed and heartbroken at the fact that she had to give up that title because of how they understand how dominant she's been. You hate to see it. We wish her a speedy recovery. And when she does come back, she's going to come back stronger than ever, and she's going to be the biggest baby face in the women's division. Because people are going to miss her. That's how strong her character is. Just like it always is in sports. When one person goes down, it's time for another person to step up. I saw on social media that apparently on this coming episode of Raw, they're gonna have a battle royal to determine the next women's world champion. In my humble opinion, I mean, there's only two names realistically that come to mind for win it, and that's Becky Lynch, obviously the favorite, and Nia Jax. In my humble opinion, I feel you should go with Nia Jax, and she should be your heel champion because you have a lot of baby faces on the roster for her to chase, and you can always have that David versus a Goliath story with her, and she is that dominant, so the story is kind of right itself. But you hate to see Rhea Ripley go down. I always said that I felt that the top 5 women in WWE were Becky, Charlotte, Asuka, Bianca, and Rhea. And now you have Rhea down, and now you have Charlotte who's down, but she's on her way back. So now you got two of your top 5 injured. But their women's division is deep enough, in my opinion, to overcome that. You just hate to see Rhea go down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it sucks. Like Rhea's been so great and so dominant. Honestly, I didn't really see. I mean, besides Nia, I didn't really see anybody taking her down as far as who's on the Raw roster. But thankfully, this Raw the draft is coming up really soon, and that's going to shake things up and put people on different brands and hopefully just get new matchups. But it sucks that she's out. It's never pleasant when someone has to relinquish a title and be out. Hopefully it's not that long of a disappearance, even if it's just like 3 months. She's going to get a huge pop when she gets back because, Rhea's just been killing it this last year. So I think it sucks, but it'll just add more depth to her story, her character, her popularity, because obviously people are going to be wanting her back. So, obviously she just wants to continue her reign and have a lengthy reign and everything, but I feel like it's just going to bring more star power to her and just make her an even bigger top star. But of course, this is all freaking Liv Morgan's fault. One person I'm gonna pull it in. I'm like, we don't need anything from her at this point. I'm sorry.
Just when I complimented her, just when I gave her a compliment, just when I started
So it was
buying in.
it was your fault for going back and changing your point of view.
It was an accident. Come on, guys.
Accident.
It was an accident.
Isn't it how it plays out where Rhea took her out and now conveniently Liv takes her out? Come on.
I mean, but before you continue, Lewis, I mean, as much as we look at Rhea versus Liv Morgan and we say it like matchup wise, we kind of seen it a bunch of times. And
don't do it, don't do it, bro.
We always know what the outcome is going to be with Rhea. They have a story now. They have a legit story.
Oh, because we know who's going to come out the victor.
When Rhea comes back, they actually have a story. So
I told you don't do it, Brian. I knew you were going to do that.
It's a very tedious story. That's just for like a backlash pay-per-view or something.
Exactly. They have a story now, though, so they can expect it.
Listen, I knew you were going to say that, Brian. I knew you were going to say that.
Could you imagine if Liv was champion by the time Rhea came back?
God.
Oh my
goodness! See, Brian. See, now Brian's putting out that negativity. He wants another Liv.
I'm just saying hypothetically, if you have that story, and you already know that Rhea's going to be the babyface. So you already
no, thank you. No, thank you. I'm all set. But yeah, for me, I don't need another Becky title reign. She's just coming off a big loss after Mania. I don't think she should. You know what's I don't know. I hate that. I don't like that they're determining the next. Well, I guess this is my question. How do you do a battle royale and then a number one contender spot? Are you doing 2 battle royales? Because like number one contender is like who the hell?
Oh no, it's for the championship, right? Is it for the championship?
It's for the championship.
So battle royale, the winner gets the title.
Yeah, the winner is
Kurt Angle style. Remember when Kurt Angle won when he returned to SmackDown after getting fired on Raw?
Oh, that's weak.
I remember that. I remember that. That was because Batista had to relinquish the title because he got hurt. I remember that.
Same situation. That's
a cop-out.
Did they even say what Rhea Ripley's injury was?
No, because she they made it look off. She was wearing a sling, so
is this like this HBK I lost my smile type thing? Like what's going on here?
She said it was her.
Had to be her shoulder. She had her arm in a sling, right?
Yeah, but I don't know if it's like an elbow or shoulder or something. I don't know.
They never said it was like dislocated or bruised, chipped elbow or anything. Like she has to have like no one said anything. And
it's definitely not surgery if it's only a few months. I think it's.
Certain surgeries you can come back in a couple months. It depends the severity of it, what it is, but it's just like they didn't even say what it was. So it's just like strange that they didn't mention that because I felt like that should have been mentioned, but it wasn't. Obviously, losing Rhea at this point in time, especially off that big WrestleMania win, you think that she's going to be on a trajectory just to continue to trend upward and just continue to build on her reign. But it's just like at the same time, I feel like this is an opportunity to create that missing star that Raw has been looking for Rhea to challenge outside of Becky, even potentially outside of Nia Jax. And kind of maybe I'm pretty sure the pick for me is going to be Nia Jax because I felt like she's been doing some of her best work ever since returning. So I think she's the clear-cut favorite for me. I don't think Becky needs it right now at this point in time. But looking at the rest of the roster, it's like this could be an opportunity for a call-up. Maybe there's a surprise showing, somebody shows up or something like that. I don't know who. But definitely looking at it as an opportunity for Raw to kind of give somebody else the rub. And I feel like Nia Jax should be that person. I definitely feel like it's not.
Yeah. Definitely. But yeah, if it's this whole battle royale for who wins the title, I think that's kind of a cop out because it's like, why not just have like a tournament? I feel like with the tournament, like it'll just give more people who are underutilized, highlight spots. Like you can throw in people
That's what they usually done in the past. Is they usually had a tournament. I remember back in the Attitude Era, tournaments galore. Like that's the way.
Question: When is that Saudi event? Queen of the Ring or King of the Ring?
June, July, something.
I think it's in June or May, like late May.
Is it like because if it's in? Hold up. If it's in May, that's probably the reason why that they didn't want to do a tournament, because they got that coming up next month. So you don't want to have like back-to-back tournaments, I guess, because the Queen of the Ring one is in Saudi, I guess.
I mean, when I'm thinking back in the day, like they had, I think Triple H got hurt and he had to relinquish the Intercontinental title, and they had a tournament, and Shamrock won that. But that was like right before the Diddley Game Survivor Series tournament.
Yeah, you gotta remember,
obviously King of the Ring is more traditional, obviously, so you want to have the focus on that. Maybe they actually pay attention to the King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring. Actually,
they could have easily done what they just did for the number one contender for Cody's title. They just have 3-on-3
or
threats. I mean, two triple threats. You know,
or they could have just, or if that Queen of the Ring tournament is next month in May, they could have just made the winner of that tournament the champion.
Easily.
Easily did it that way. If
people qualify for the tournament, and then the tournament
it's like 3 weeks. Yeah, but then again, you got Backlash coming up, so it's like
have the qualifying match. Well, I guess I understand what you're saying. Yeah, because you don't want to put a qualifying match on a big time pay-per-view like this. You don't want to,
the fact that they're in France,
especially the earlier rounds. You don't want to do that. So I definitely understand that. But yeah, it just seems like this is an opportunity for somebody to step up. And of course, we all think it's Nia Jax or Becky Lynch secondary, but it's just like this could be somebody's calling out party, and maybe somebody challenge either Nia or Becky Lynch going forward. But it's just like, I want this to be an opportunity not wasted by WWE. Like, okay, this is just a placeholder thing until Rhea gets back. Whoever wins this, I want them to have a significant impact punch to the women's division. That's my thing. I want them to actually have some value, like some type of run here where it's like when Rhea does return, it's a noteworthy challenger, or if Charlotte comes in, whatever the case may be. I just want it to be meaning something. I want this title win to mean something and not just be a placeholder until Rhea comes back. I don't want that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
But let's continue to move on here. Let's talk about it. We've been clamoring. Lewis has been clamoring for over a year now that he wants new tag team titles. And this week we have gotten, it's Friday. We got some new tag team titles coming in. New tag team titles first presented on Raw. Adam Pearce, Triple H in the ring, ushering Awesome Truth into the ring. Obviously, we saw the veil. It wasn't announced on social media, which I thought they would have done previously, but no, they did not do that. Awesome Truth's come to the ring. R-Truth with a good back and forth with the Triple H, basically confusing him for Tommaso Ciampa. Just hilarious ensues, but then the titles are revealed. And this is what we've been waiting for over a year, for quite some time, even past a year. We wanted to retire those nickels on the red and blue straps, and we wanted new tag team titles. We got them in a form of the World Heavyweight title, paying lineage to that, all the titles on Raw, paying lineage to the World Heavyweight title. We got new tag team titles. What do you guys think about those tag team titles being introduced, and what's potentially down the line for them?
Well, go ahead, Lewis. You can go first. Since you're the one that's been clamoring the World Tag Team. Matter of fact, I actually feel bad for the fact that I didn't let you go first on this. So go ahead, Lewis.
It's funny because I was just about to mention how we were talking about the tag titles before we started, and it's just like, finally. And I know some people had some comments about the Raw tag titles or the World tag titles.
I will be making those comments after.
I'm not gonna lie. I was just happy to see gold and not silver and red straps or blue straps. This is just such an eyesore. Those tag titles have always looked, besides the bronze ones looked even worse. Have just looked so meaningless to me. Mm-hmm. And I mean, we've seen dominant reigns, we've seen the New Day hold them, we've seen the Usos have a historic run with them, but they just never looked prestigious whatsoever. And to finally, first of all, have them split, finally have Raw and SmackDown tag titles, and finally just seeing some gold. And just some actual gold. Like, look at all the titles that have been around, how many of them have not been gold?
Yes, a big misstep.
Between the US, IC, all the titles.
Hey, the cruiserweight title was purple and silver. Hey, that had silver on it.
I don't think we need to talk about that.
You talking about me? You talking about me bringing in negativity? This dude just mentioned the fucking cruiserweight division from Raw. Come on,
I'm bringing up history. Sorry, my bad.
It started off hot. They just didn't know what to do.
Okay, you can bring up history. It ain't gotta be that negative shit.
Hey.
24/7 title had
Adam Neville was cruiserweight champion. That's all I'm saying. He had a good reign.
Adrian Neville. There's another one.
See, there's another one. Matter of fact, fuck that. Pack. Okay.
Such hostility tonight. I thought we had a good thing going. We got new tag titles. I thought everybody would be happy.
But like Brian and me were talking about, it's like the new titles that just revealed on SmackDown. They just have that old tag title gold feel, and they just look great. I didn't even see them during SmackDown. I literally opened up Instagram and was like, boom, new tag titles, and I was like, those are tag titles. I was like, that's what I've been wanting. And you'll hear the comments later on, but I'm not mad at the world tag titles. Maybe it's just the shape. I know what they were trying to do, but I think the shape, is what just kind of made them look a little clunky, but still much better than the design than what we got. And I'm just hoping for some great tag team wrestling with some actual meaning to being tag team champions. That's all I've wanted, because there's way too many tag teams and too many people that are involved in tag teams that have just been meaningless. Just like feuds for nothing. It's just like, time for people actually to be thriving for some gold, and that's what I want to see.
Yeah, I echo your sentiments, Lewis. Honestly, when I saw, both set of tag team titles, we'll start with Raw. I liked them, but I kind of looked at the positive of it from the standpoint of they're a clear upgrade over the crap that we had. So they're really sticking with this branding format of having WWE logo in the middle of all their titles now. So I'm guessing that's an edict moving forward from TKO or this new a direction WWE is going in, which I understand for branding purposes. But as far as the SmackDown tag team titles that were revealed tonight, they definitely kind of were a throwback to the original tag team title design from the Attitude Era and such. So I definitely think out of the two, the WWE tag team title ones are going to be the better ones. And I love how they got rid of the whole branding association with the titles now. So now there's WWE tag team titles, world tag team titles, which definitely allows for some interesting moments upcoming next week with the draft coming. So. And I also like how, as far as Daniel mentioned the future, but moving forward, they wasted no time both on Raw and SmackDown having number one contenders matches for the tag team titles, with DIY winning on Raw, and then on SmackDown the Street Profits winning. So you can definitely see that they are definitely pushing forward with the tag team titles finally separated. They did have a plan all along, even though we all bitched and complained and went on rants. But they finally gave us what we wanted. I'm glad we have new tag team titles. And now off to the negativity.
It's not negativity, Brian. It's constructive criticism.
Now it's constructive criticism.
This is $1 billion company.
It's constructive criticism, where anybody else is just negativity.
This is $1 billion company who has the best belt designers in the world. Thousands, millions thrown behind merchandising, all this stuff. And the world heavyweight title, big gold belt, which is the world heavyweight title now, kind of lineage passing on. And yes, all the titles have to be in correlation, but the new tag team titles, the world heavyweight titles for Raw, I said it right off the bat. Everyone was saying, yes, we got new tag titles. These look great. Yes. And I just kept going,
Exactly.
Hating. And everybody was like, what's the issue? And I finally said the issue. I'm like, they look like frozen pizzas that you get from Costco or BJ's or Walmart. The circle.
Hey, those are pretty good, all right?
Pizza. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm not saying that. But that's the first thing that came to mind. And I'm just sitting there thinking in my head, making jokes. They look like frozen pizzas. They look like frozen pizzas with the red stamp over it. That's what they look like to me. I'm sorry.
Frozen pizzas look better than fucking nickels, man.
Very true.
That's all that needs to be said.
I was kind of sitting there thinking for a minute, bring back the nickels.
How dare you, sir? How dare you?
Let's do this over. This is a bad reveal. I wasn't with it. I'm like, unless there's some sponsorship with Pizza Hut that we don't know about.
Oh dear God!
I'm just saying.
We got gold. Be happy.
I'm glad that we got the tag titles.
I swear to God, now if I see a fucking Pizza Hut advertisement on Monday Night Raw, now I'm gonna think about you now.
If you see a Pizza Hut advertisement during a tag team title match, you heard it here first. You heard it here first.
I'll be tight.
That's all I'm saying.
See, Daniel's already corrupting the tag team division.
I'm not corrupting anything. I'm not corrupting anything.
I'd be tight if I see that now.
I'm just saying it's happening. Triple H, make it happen.
See now who's bringing out the negativity?
Triple H, if you're listening, make it happen.
No,
make it happen, Triple H. Make it.
Calling for it. He's calling for it. That's crazy.
Lewis, you know damn well if there's money to be made, they're gonna do it.
And this one will clearly all be Daniel's fault.
The advertising writes itself. The advertising writes itself. That's all I'm saying. The advertising writes itself with that. But as we got a DIY going to face Awesome Truth, obviously, probably at. Did they say when that match was happening? Is that at Backlash yet?
They said, "What's up?"
I don't think they announced it for Backlash. They may have announced it for this coming Monday Raw. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I think it was this coming Monday.
But yeah, whatever it takes place, because the draft kind of throws a monkey wrench in this, because it's like, yeah, a tag team can get drafted to the other side or whatever the case may be. So that's potentially open there with whatever they want to do. But on SmackDown, those tag team titles, as you guys were saying, those were the tag team titles, what they look like, kind of throwback to, I believe, even all the way back to the Hart Foundation. I think when they won, I think it was like 1985 to 2002, those era of the SmackDown, the eras of the tag team titles, that big type of bulky belt that was in calling back then. Even since 1985, they draw inspiration from those tag titles, and those, I think those look better than the Raw tag team titles. I definitely feel that way at this current moment. But it's just great, as you guys said, just great to get a new ushering in new tag team gold. Like, that's what we've been wanting, and especially to have them separate, because it's like there's just a bunch of guys doing nothing. And at least even on those days when it was SmackDown and Raw and stuff like that, and they had a whole bunch of guys, you had Paul London and Brian Kendrick carrying the tag team division with Eminem and all these other stuff like that. So it's like, it's good to have tag team titles that look like tag team titles at least. Good to have them split. That's the biggest thing for me and everyone here. Is like, we definitely need those split rather than those guys just going back and forth. And I think we're now getting in the ushering of the real brand split coming on. What do you guys think about that? And with new tag team titles, everyone kind of branding GMs, because I think this is just an extension of that. They're showing more and more that they're kind of leaning towards a brand split completely.
I have no problem with that. I love when they split the brands. I just ask for one simple fucking thing. Stay committed to the shit, please. That's all I ask. Don't have a draft and then 3 weeks later, someone who's drafted on SmackDown is on Raw attacking somebody. Please, do not do that. All right. The only way I see that them doing that is if maybe there's an injury to a top star and they need to move shit around. Then okay, in that instance, fine. But not but if it's 2 or 3 weeks in and nobody's injured, and then you're already moving people over because of the ratings and stuff, then it's like, what was the point of it? It's a waste of time.
The only time that they need to do that is if they have a overseas trip and guys can't make it back.
Or like, yeah, little like that. Like, I get to like little stuff like that. I understand. I mean, accidents happen, people get hurt, travel issues, stuff like that happens. Okay, you need to call people over for the show. Fine. But it has to be for only those reasons. If it's for any other reason, because of ratings and money and stuff, then it's like, what was the point of doing it?
My thing is like, if yes, one, they need to be more committed to it, but my thing is, if they do need to like move people around, just say, hey, have a little segment. Hey, you want to trade? How about we do this trade? You give me these two, like whatever, like hypothetical.
Yes.
Like, oh, I'll give you Cody if you give me Drew and Kevin Owens or whatever. Like, at least just like, don't just be like the announce team. Oh, this person just showed up from Raw. It's like, no, you have the GMs. Why not just have them like cutting deals or whatever? Like, all right, here, like, let me trade you this person, that person, or if this person wins on your show, then I get to keep them or something. Like, just like
they definitely made it. They've been more recent. They've recently been talking up. Hey, we want this more sports based, right? Like more competitive, more kind of how you see the leagues of the NBA and NFL. And I think that's something that we kind of miss, and especially at this time where there's so much talent and the rosters are so big, you can have disgruntled people be like, "Hey, I don't want to be here anymore." You know what I mean? Like,
literally have it like GM mode.
Yeah, literally. Like, that's the thing that they've been bigging up over on WWE 2K23 and then 24 recently. It's like, literally do that. Like, that's something that and maybe back in the older days where it was kind of messed up, because it's like one show clearly had all the talent and that was just a priority. Usually it was Raw, usually having the priority over SmackDown and stuff like that. But now where you're in this new era where there's so much talent, there's a lot more investment in it in terms of money and star power, in terms of roster depth, I should say. This should be doable. Like, this shouldn't be a difficult thing for WWE to do at this point in time in their history. They should be able to commit to a brand split. I don't know if they're going to do brand split pay-per-views. I don't know about that. But ultimately, we're in a position where they can actually start doing that again.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But we'll see what happens with those tag team titles and see what happens with their number one contenders. We got Grayson Waller and Austin Theory facing the Street Profits at some point. Apparently on next week on Raw, we're going to have DIY facing Awesome Truth for the tag team title. So tag team division picking up again and at the right time. Let's continue to move on here. We have Judgment Day tension, as we've been talking about ever since, especially with Rhea Ripley recently stepping down with her injury and stuff like that. She told those boys, hey, take care of Judgment Day, take care of Dom while I'm away. And Damian Priest basically ushering in that new leadership role, which is kind of cool. He just recently cashed in and kind of trying to take charge of the group, basically telling guys to divide and conquer. And I just felt some tension between him and Finn and the group over the course of Finn basically saying, hey, we need to get those tag team titles back that we just lost. And Damian basically saying, no, you need to take out my number one contender, Jey Uso, who I'm going to be facing at Backlash. You need to take him out. And obviously the match happened between Jey and Finn. And I was surprised in this that Jey actually got the win clean in a good competitive match. I thought that was probably the best Jey Uso's looking a little bit for me. And then after the match, Damian was just trying to have a stare down with Jey Uso, and Judgment Day basically just took out Jey Uso, and Jey Uso actually got away. But it seemed like there's just always this little teasing of Damian Priest kind of wanting to stand on his own and be prideful, and Judgment Day kind of undercutting that. But what do you guys think overall of that in the upcoming matchup with Jey and Damian Priest at Backlash?
I love the little bits and pieces that they put out there that have us guessing about what's going to happen. Like Daniel mentioned, you see the tension with Finn and Priest. You think that if they play the cards right down the line, and Judgment Day does eventually break up, and we do see maybe a Finn versus Damian match, assuming he's still champion.
Mm-hmm.
We might see the Demon again. We haven't seen in almost a year and some change. So that's one direction I'd like to see them go in if they're going with this tension. But in a way, I'm kind of glad they're doing this, because it also plays to the strength of Rhea Ripley, showing that like how when she was the leader of the group is when they were at their most dominant, and now you don't have her. So now you see them starting to unravel, in a sense, showing that like this is how dominant of a leader she was. Because now she's gone. Look at them now. They the biggest guy who's now the world champion. He's kind of got that cocky head. Telling Finn, go after Jay instead of going after tag team gold again. But I like the direction that they're going in. They're definitely gonna. I think they're definitely gonna make Damian a very a strong champion, and they gave him a very great challenger to step up first in Jey Uso. Moving forward, as long as they continue to put those little bits and pieces out there for us, it's going to be very interesting.
I'm curious because it seems like eventually Finn Damian is going to happen, but I wonder if this, with him being champ, like, is this like
in Cleveland?
I don't know. I'm just more curious, like, if this is going to be the catalyst for them finally breaking up. And then if they do break up, does Damian still a heel? Does he become babyface? Like, I don't know which direction they go post Judgment Day with him. Because I feel like if he's a heel, it would make more sense to keep the Judgment Day with him to kind of help him keep winning, I guess. Kind of have him in this corner as like kind of bloodline-ish, where it's just like, I'm taking these guys out, but yeah, they're still kind of, how most heel stables do, they usually they get the win. So I think that's where I'm curious, or if it's just going to be a situation where it's Finn just leaving because he's just like, yo, we were tag champs. You're not trying to do that anymore. You're the champ now. You don't really care about what I want. So I'm curious if this is either the catalyst for Finn finally actually leaving and, finally going back on his own and going for his pursuits for gold, or if it's actually the end of Judgment Day. But I don't know. Judgment Day has been around, and last year probably is stronger than ever. But I think I'm curious to see what would happen if the group literally just disbands. It's like, where does everybody go? Do people stay together? Does everybody just become single stars? And then what happens when Rhea comes back? So I don't know.
That's
their thing. There's so much that can happen, and
exactly. A lot that can happen. You never know.
That's my thing, guys. Like, I don't think they're going to break up until Rhea gets back, and because now she comes back and it's just over. She has no say on what happens and stuff like that. So that's where I'm looking at it from that standpoint. It's like, it's better that she's involved in that, because maybe we get her being a clear babyface at that point when she breaks from the group. On behalf of Damian, I can see him right now. He kind of reminds me of Kevin Nash, Diesel, when he was champion. Like, this is the perfect time for him to kind of show what he can do. He's been I think he's a lot more dynamic than Kevin Nash. I'm going to say that right now.
Yes.
In terms of just being versatile, but he has that stoic demeanor of a Kevin Nash, right? Like, he comes off cool. He knows what to say. His promos are getting better and stuff like that as champion and stuff like that. He looks like a leader. He stands out on his own, I should say. So from that standpoint, I've been saying all along, like, I think he's in that realm of a babyface. He can play a heel, but I feel like it's more often than not that he's going to be the person to be babyface rather than Finn, because Finn can kind of play on that. Hey, I never got to beat Seth for that title, and I know Seth lost the title, but I never got my shot to be champion again. So I feel like that's an angle he can play and kind of have that animosity. Like, yo, you didn't want to get the tag team titles back. I never got my shot for the world title. You're the champion, but you're only champion because we helped you win Money in the Bank and stuff like that. So it's definitely seeing the tension there. They're kind of laying the little building blocks there down the line. Even all the way down to Dominic Mysterio and JD McDonough, how those guys are kind of not having success on their own and stuff like that. Andrade picked up the win over Dominic Mysterio, even though JD McDonough tried to help. So little stuff like that, you can kind of see, like, there's some failures here, there's some dissension here. So it's just kind of, I just think it's going to drag on a little bit. Unfortunately, Rhea Ripley got hurt, so that's a big part of it. Where I think they're not going to make a move with that group until she returns. But I think, as you guys said, I think Damian Priest should continue to I think he should have a strong run here as champion for however long that is.
Yeah.
He should definitely have a good showing, put on some positive matches, and really look good as champion, I feel like. And I feel like at some point Judgment Day is going to break up, but I just don't think this is the time to do that right now. Especially WWE, you always know they're trying to build in those Spanish markets and stuff like that. So having Damian Priest, he recently just went to Yankee Stadium with the championship and having promos there. So I feel like they're definitely trying to build up that connection with them again. The Latin community and Spanish community and stuff like that. So I feel like that's a big factor behind that. But Damian Priest, we've been saying he can be world champion. We've been saying that. Like, that's been something we've been saying on this show. Like, he can be world champion. So finally he's here, and hopefully he can continue to have a good reign. Hopefully. Let's continue on to something else very, very, very touching to my soul. And that is Chad Gable turning heel. It finally happened. Finally happened. Obviously, we have the beatdown with Jey Uso escaping the Judgment Day. He's walking out the Bell Center in Montreal. Sami Zayn comes through the crowd, the fans outside, and leads into this match with Chad Gable, where they've been building up, where Sami Zayn was kind of partnering with Chad Gable to kind of just get a training regimen and to defeat Gunther. At WrestleMania 40, Sami Zayn did that, and Chad Gable wanted his opportunity. He wanted his opportunity at the Intercontinental title. Obviously, there in the Bell Center, Montreal, big-time match, main eventing Raw. I thought it was a great match between the two, Sami Zayn and Chad Gable. At points, I thought Chad Gable was going to win, but ultimately, Sami Zayn pulled out the win. Sami Zayn begins celebrating. He picks up Chad Gable, raises his arm. They're celebrating together a little bit. Sami Zayn then goes out in front of his wife, and then Chad Gable hits him. He hits him with the German suplex on the outside, gets him in the ring, puts the ankle lock on him again, which he's been applying so much in the match. And we have a heel turn of Chad Gable ending Monday Night Raw. And usually it was just awesome to see Chad Gable finally hit that switch, at least in my eyes, to turn heel, because he's been trying to get that opportunity and prove that he's that guy. And Sami Zayn outwitted him once again. So what do you guys think about that? The heel turn, the match, and what's coming next?
You can go ahead first on this, Lewis.
Finally. It's just, it's crazy watching this whole match and just seeing Chad Gable like use the ankle lock so much, put in all this work, and then for him to still come up short. I already knew just from a storyline basis, I knew he wasn't going to win. I was hoping maybe it would be like one of those like, no, he got screwed type thing or whatever, but Sammy got a clean win, and it finally happened, and it needed to happen, and because they decided not to go with just him being another underdog. Because sorry to say, but Sammy is the underdog. He was the underdog at Mania, and Daniel said it. He got that story. That was probably a lot of us. I know I was definitely one that felt that Chad was, perfectly fit for that story. Should have had that story. Should have had that WrestleMania moment with Gunther. But maybe this is an opportunity that he wanted, or that they want for him, be a full-blown heel. I wonder how that's going to translate with Alpha Academy. But one thing I was going to mention was that watching this whole match and just seeing the way he wrestles just reminds me so much of Kurt Angle. The athleticism, the wrestling, the ankle lock. It's just like, let this man just go off. Yes, he's not the same stature, but he's athletic, he's strong, he has the look. I'm very curious to see, he was a heel when he started the whole Alpha Academy early on, but it was a comedic heel. So I'm very curious to see what a serious heel and what he can do with that, where he's just taking dudes out, breaking ankles, German suplexing people everywhere, left and right. That's what I want to see, and that's what should lead him to finally getting his first singles title. So I'm very excited to see what Chad brings. I really hope it's not like, oh, Alpha Academy's, heel now too, because honestly, I think he's kind of outgrown them. He hasn't really been by their side lately.
Mm-hmm.
It's been all, the tag stuff with Alpha Academy has just been Otis and Tozawa, which at this point probably should just be done. Let these guys kind of, they had their fun little shticks and whatever, but let these guys.
You don't like Tozawa Power?
I liked the little dance the first time he did it, but I think we're past
Yeah. We're past that now.
But last thing, this is just the time for Chad to like go out and prove that this man, that he can wrestle, he can take people out, and that he's coming for gold.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go all the way back to the Sami Zayn's entrance. The way that was shot was something completely different. Clearly shows the new direction that they're going in with the production. It was different. I liked it. Seeing him getting hyped with the fans like that, walking through the arena to coming out. I like that. Definitely could tell that Montreal is his city.
Mm-hmm.
So going into the match, it was a great match. You're always gonna get great performances from both Sami Zayn and Chad Gable. Sami pulling it out, and I loved how the heel turn was executed. The fact that literally this man is in front of his wife, celebrating with her, and then he, out of nowhere, here he comes while he's right in front of his wife. That was perfectly done and shot perfectly well. So I definitely love that. Seeing Chad Gable now as a heel, like Lewis said, before when he did it, he was really like a comedic heel. So I'm also interested in seeing what serious Chad Gable looks like. And in my humble opinion, if he is going to be a serious Chad Gable and he wants to build like a serious Alpha Academy by making it stronger, why not recruit the Creed brothers? I know we've been talking for the longest time about how they've been booked currently. I've noticed that a lot of these number one contender matches and these qualifying matches, they've been losing. I mean, they lost. Did they lose to DIY this past?
It was them.
They were in the fatal four-way.
It was them in the New Day.
So it was a fatal. So it was a fatal four-way. But that's still another loss for an opportunity at the tag team titles. I mean, you could tell a story right there about how they need direction. They've been losing, and then you have Chad Gable come along, and then you got pretty much a newer version of Team Angle. So I would love to see something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But love the way the heel turn was executed. It's definitely going to be a good story moving forward. Storyline sense, storyline wise, it makes perfect sense as to why Chad would do it. And outside the storyline, but from fan perspective, like Daniel has said, that based on the booking, it did make more sense for Chad Gable to be in the main event spot. In the spot at WrestleMania than Sami, as far as the storytelling and everything went. So definitely love that aspect of it, and it's going to be very interesting moving forward, seeing Chad Gable as a serious heel.
And I can't wait for it because one, let's be honest, Sami Zayn stole his story. He stole a story. Legitimately stole a story. He's winning the title in front of his kids. He got his wife at the side. All the stuff that Chad Gable was supposed to have and have that moment. So there's some understanding of why Chad is upset and should be upset. Now, as for heel Chad Gable, as you guys said, I see a lot of Kurt Angle. I see a lot of Kurt Angle guy that wrestles. And one thing that Chad Gable has always shown, even since Alpha Academy has always started, he has the intelligence. Mm-hmm. So that's probably one of the most dangerous things as a heel. Is not a heel that's just a big brolic or just a weasel character. A heel that's intelligent and as skillful as he is in the ring kind of reminds me of Kurt Angle when he was heel and stuff like that. So we know we saw the comedy Chad Gable, we saw the underdog Chad Gable. Now we're going to see the Chad Gable with an edge, and I think that's something that's a new development in his character that's going to be awesome. Now, what you guys were saying about the Creed brothers before the match, they did show he was training with the Creed brothers. There was not Otis, there was not Tozawa, There was not Ivy now. There was not
that
Dupree.
promo, which was good, by the way, because I like that. That's reminiscent of like UFC or boxing in like interviews and such. So I like the way that was done too.
Yeah, so they're doing these like camera cuts with these interviews and stuff like that. That's not just always backstage. There's actually showing in the ring. There's actually showing some in-ring work or walking backstage or whatever the case may be. So I like that element, a lot of it. But that to you guys saying that he should turn heel and get the Creed brothers to join him. The new tag team titles division is filled with baby faces. Imperium's kind of taking a break a little bit right now. Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, DIY, Awesome Truth. Creed brothers, they've been losing. They've been coming up short on these angles. Make them heel with Chad Gable and make a different Alpha Academy that would just be totally different from what it's been presented as. And I think that's a very good move that they should be going in. And I think that's something that they're going to move towards. And I think they should do that. But yeah, just to see Chad Gable eventually get that win at some point. And if Sami Zayn, who's better to beat than Sami Zayn, right? Like he's the ultimate baby face.
Yeah.
If Chad Gable can get a win over him by hook or by crook or whatever the case may be, making him tap, whatever the case may be, it should happen.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and definitely, and they're definitely going to have obviously another Intercontinental title match probably at Backlash, and it's definitely going to be worked differently because you're going to see Chad work as a heel, so you're probably going to be doing a lot more sneaky tactics and stuff. So that's definitely going to be interesting as well.
It's definitely going to be interesting to also see who even gets in that mid card spot, right? Who else enters that fray at some point? But right now it's Chad Gable and Sami Zayn in that Intercontinental title spot, and there's nothing better right now because you got an angry heel that can beat anybody at some point. He can get the 1, 2, 3 on somebody. He's just waiting for his opportunity. Then you got Sami Zayn who's going to try to fight like hell to keep that title. So it's definitely going to be mixing up to be an interesting story. Let's move on to Friday night SmackDown. I was traveling a little bit trying to get everything technical difficulties messing up here, but we finally got it. You guys watched a little bit of SmackDown. I believe Brian saw all of it. What do you guys think about AJ Styles defeating LA Knight and becoming the number one contender to face Cody Rhodes at Backlash in France?
He's the perfect first opponent for Cody Rhodes. That was such a smart direction to go in with him. It's the perfect first opponent. And thinking back, when Cody initially left WWE, I think like when he was on the Independents, he made a list of like guys that he wanted to face, and like AJ Styles, I think, was on that list. So this was definitely something that he probably wanted. So yeah, I mean, you don't really even need to tell a story with this match because it kind of sells itself going into Backlash. But they're definitely going to put some context around it because there is a contract signing next week on SmackDown. So, but it's the perfect first opponent. I'm very interested now to see what happens with the LA Knight. Now that you got the draft coming up, and no matter where he ends up, he's definitely still over with the crowd. So I'm definitely interested in seeing, what ends up happening with him. But definitely looking forward to AJ Styles versus Cody Rhodes at Backlash.
Yeah, definitely a smart move because I think we all know the first person who's gonna, get that title shot against Cody is probably gonna lose, because we know Cody's not losing that title anytime soon.
Hey! It's a new era. It's a new era, Lewis. It's a new era.
I'm sorry, but you're telling me after the 2 years of this man again fighting for the title, you want him to lose it in his first month?
No, not even that, Lewis. This man just ended one of the top world title reigns of all time, 4 years.
Exactly.
You're gonna have him just lose immediately? That's a disrespect.
Wait. So you guys don't believe
that you respect. Remember?
So you guys don't believe in AJ Styles as a contender?
Do you?
Yes.
No, I don't believe in him as a contender. I'm just saying.
I'm going to sit here and say I would love an AJ Styles title run. Yeah. Do I see it happening against Cody? I do not.
Me either.
I do not. Let me make that very clear.
Way to bury the main event. Way to bury the main event of an overseas pay-per-view.
It's still going to be a great match.
Way to bury the lead, Lewis, of a main event title match.
Come on now. That's like saying how we all picked who was going to win an Elimination Chamber. Like, come on. Did we all think Rhea was going to lose her title right before Mania? Come on now. It's the same. It's the same situation, and we all, huh?
There's a chance.
There's a chance, but that chance is very slim.
It's 50-50, Lewis.
No, it's not. You don't even believe that.
What? Me?
How dare you? Anywho, like I said, I would love an AJ Styles title run just because I know his time is, coming up soon. Even though he looks great, but he has also been doing this a very long time. Yeah. And I don't know. Maybe we could see some New Japan footage come up. I hope that they bring up some of their, past interactions and stuff like that.
Was AJ there with the Bullet Club with Cody?
He wasn't there, but they both were a part of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But I still, so maybe they haven't ever wrestled each other. Who knows? But there's still a story there. I'm sure there is. And they can probably sell it. But either way, AJ looks great right now. That's why I say, I could see him, just like Randy could still have another title run. But at this time, I think, he's definitely not catching a win unless he's building some new faction and surprises the hell out of us. But I don't see that happening. But definitely a great move. Give him a good start in his title reign for Cody. But I'm curious to see. I mean, they're probably saving LA Knight for the draft, and maybe that'll lead to a mid-card title scene. So we'll see.
Yep. Most definitely. Just thinking it from the outlook of AJ Styles being Cody's first competitor, they kind of mirror each other, right? Like both those guys. AJ Styles was kind of that guy that didn't come to WWE for the longest time, right? Like he was kind of that guy, hey, is he ever going to come over? And Cody was kind of that guy, hey, I need to go make a name for myself. Both those guys kind of did that. Once AJ Styles left TNA, he went to New Japan and became so totally different than what he was in Impact and TNA. And really made a name for himself that made him more valuable to WWE. Similar to Cody Rhodes. He went to New Japan, went on the indie scene, ended up starting AEW, ended up making himself more valuable. And eventually, bygones be bygones, he came back to WWE. So those guys kind of have a similar path in terms of not being wanted by WWE at some certain points and then eventually being ushered in. So definitely going to make up for a banger match. I can't wait to see the contract signing and seeing a heel AJ, because we got heel AJ before with the whole John Cena sucks, beat John Cena up, John Cena sucks type, back with the Good Brothers and stuff like that. But now that he's broken away from the
dang.
No, Daniel.
All right. So it looks like Daniel's frozen right now. All right. I mean, if I was in charge of the graphics, we can move on to the next.
Do not.
All right. So, Lewis, you also watched SmackDown. I believe right after AJ Styles beat LA Knight. I think right after that was the unveiling of the SmackDown Tag Team titles.
Yeah,
and then they had the number one contenders tag team match, and I believe it was the Street Profits, New Catch Republic,
Legado del
Fantasma,
and Final Testament,
and the Final Testament. I mean AOP. So that was actually a great hard hitting match, and the Street Profits came out on top. So they'll be challenging A-Town Down Under, which is also when you look at A-Town Down Under as a up and coming heel tag team, it's kind of good that first of all, it's great that they're champions, because as heels, there's also a decent amount of babyface tag teams over on SmackDown for the time being, or at least until the draft. So there's always going to be someone to chase them. What did you think about think about the Street Profits being the number one contenders?
I was okay. I mean, for me, it wasn't anything great. Looking at the other teams, the only other team that I saw that maybe could get a shot was Final Testament, maybe just to kind of give them like a little kick, start up, them as a group, because they are probably the newest team, I guess, to come out. But they're huge and they're dominant, and I feel like we kind of need to recapture that like momentum that they got in NXT, and there's some big dudes. They're strong, they're powerful. I feel like they should have not easily won this match, but that was my pick for the new number one contenders or New Catch Republic. But who are the other teams? It was
the Street Profits and
Street Profits and Legado del Fantasma. I mean, I like Legado del Fantasma. I think they still need a little more team development. Let them maybe speak at some point.
Yeah.
But I don't see them getting gold anytime soon. New Catch Republic 2.
Yeah.
Big fans of Butch and
it's not Butch anymore, man.
Not Butch. Pete Dunne.
Butch is dead, thank God. Yeah.
And what is his name?
Tyler Bate.
They're another great tag team. I feel like they're kind of in a similar boat to DIY, but like you said, they're also a babyface tag team, which I think would have paired well with Grayson Waller, just because they're full blown heels. But there he is.
Yeah. All right,
We're talking about the tag match right now.
Yeah. So Daniel, while you were dealing with your technical difficulties, we were talking about the number one contender for the 4-way tag team match that happened right after AJ Styles and LA Knight. Basically just breaking down the decision for the Street Profits to go over and how it was a good match. And pretty much continuing the talk of how now they're progressing the tag team titles moving forward and like establishing them. So
who was in that match with the DIY? Sorry, I missed all that.
All right, so it was the Street Profits, Legado del Fantasma, New Catch Republic, and Final AOP. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So I would say like it's cool that the Street Profits kind of got that win, but I feel like AOP kind of should have got that. But I mean, I guess that makes sense. You don't want like two heels just going after each other, so it makes sense that Street Profits, just because they're hot baby faces right now, so definitely against Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, plus Lewis, on top of that, AOP is actually going for the NXT tag team titles on NXT. So they attacked the new champions of what is it?
Axiom and whatever.
Axiom and what's his name?
Nathan Frazier.
Nathan Frazier. Yeah, I can't believe I forgot his name now because he's actually very good. So Nathan Frazier and Axiom. So AOP like attacked them after they beat Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker for the titles. So definitely a story there. And, probably going back down there to reclaim the glory that they should have got when they were down there initially.
Very, very true.
But they were champions though. So I just remember.
I don't want them to go to NXT. I want them on the main roster. We waited so long to get those guys on the main roster, and especially with Karrion Kross and this Final Testament. Is it Final Testament or New Testament? Whatever the case may be.
Final Testament.
Mm-hmm. But they need. I feel like they need to be on the main roster and create momentum that way. Eventually, facing the Street Profits. I don't want them going to NXT. I understand they're doing this whole thing where NXT is in the draft and stuff like that, and they want to showcase NXT more and treat it actually like a third brand now. Cool, I'm with that. But don't have these guys go backwards like that. Not like that. I don't want that to happen for them. I feel like they're main event roster ready. They just needed a mouthpiece. Paul Ellering can do that. Karrion Kross can do that. Scarlett can do that for them. And just have those guys just dominate and be badasses. That's what I want for them. I don't want them being in NXT. Even though NXT is great, they need to be on the main roster. They need to be on the main roster. What else did I want to talk about here? Oh yes, Bloodlines addition by subtraction. At last week we had Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga, the new member of the Bloodline, take out Jimmy Uso for his failures at WrestleMania, and leading in this new era where they're actually having Solo talk and be the voice of the Bloodline right now while Roman's away, while The Rock is on sabbatical. Paul Heyman is scared to talk at this point in time with the Bloodline. So what do you guys think about that, especially with all the stuff that happened tonight? I've been able to see clips and stuff like that of Kevin Owens being taken out by Tama Tonga, first by a car, which is wild, the bloodshed that Kevin Owens had, and Solo and Tama Tonga taking out Kevin Owens. What do you guys just think about the introduction of this guy that's been in New Japan Wrestling, the son of Haku, legendary Haku? If you know anything about Haku, just type about him on YouTube. There's a video of Stevie Ray talking about a bar there in South Dakota, and Haku goes crazy there. So look up Haku if you don't know anything about him, please. But what do you guys think about Tama Tonga coming in and joining the Bloodline?
All right. On a side note, every like wrestling podcast I've heard about anybody mention Haku, he is literally, from what everyone says, the toughest guy in the world. All the stories that these old timers tell, like Haku will fuck anybody up. So you don't want to Haku. So as far as the addition of Tama Tonga, I mean, obviously, I didn't really watch a lot of New Japan when he was there, but I did take a look at some of these his highlights. Definitely very aggressive in ring. He cuts very his promos are very good. Definitely a lot of profanity in them though, but that'll be worked out. But I love how they've introduced him so far, especially with him attacking Jimmy, and then taking it to another level tonight with Kevin Owens, and introducing the storyline part of it, with the vehicles crashing into one another, which definitely adds a certain element to it. And then you see how bloody Kevin Owens was on the side of his face, the gore of it. And it's kind of funny that they're targeting Kevin Owens again, because we always felt like this Kevin Owens versus Bloodline thing was coming to an end, but I guess it's
never going to end.
I guess it's unfinished business, so that's why
he faced Roman Reigns at 4 Royal Rumbles in a row. It's never going to end.
But I also love the elevation of Solo's character now. The fact that he's kind of stepping out in this individual role as kind of the leader. As crappy as people want to talk about NXT 2.0, there were a couple of positives on it and one of those positives is when initially he was on there on his own, and he was able to talk and be his own man and not be a part of the Bloodline. And obviously, past 2 years, kind of lost sight of that with him being the enforcer. So now that he's stepping back out again and he's going to be a key part in this Bloodline story moving forward, it's definitely very good to see. Once again, the Bloodline storyline is taking guys that we think that they're stuck in their roles, in the same roles forever, and then next thing you know, they elevate them to another level. So this is how good the storyline is.
Yeah, with the Bloodline thing, it's still very unclear, like where this is at. Is Solo just taking charge on his own? Is he think he's doing this for the Bloodline and kind of going against Roman, or is he just like?
It's obviously who he's speaking for.
I mean, to me, it just sounds like he's trying to, him just trying to be the tribal chief, and that's why he decided to bring Tama Tonga in. That's why he decided to get rid of Jimmy. And I mean, like Paul Heyman said, everybody in the Bloodline lost at WrestleMania. Yeah, I mean, besides night one, but you got Jimmy lost against Jay. You got Roman losing the World Championship. So it's like, where do you go from there? So, but I feel like more people are coming. More surprises are coming with them. We don't know when Roman's coming back, so whatever is going to happen with the Bloodline, I'm sure is going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
Most definitely. Tama Tonga saw some of his work in New Japan and stuff like that, but just being the son of Haku, that's enough to know me that you're serious about the business and you're going to be a big time star, especially in this era of WWE, where he's not just going to take a back seat. You obviously see the impact that he's making right now, taking out Jimmy, taking out Kevin Owens, two primetime stars on television week to week. So to see him usher in that, and then to see Solo stand out on his own right now, that's pretty entertaining, to say the least, to see that this guy that has been the muscle for the bloodline actually has a brain, actually picks out people, actually has a mind of his own. So to see that element from Solo right now, especially in limbo with Roman Reigns and The Rock and stuff like that, and Paul Heyman continuing to play his part in that role still, I love where this is going. It's ushering a new element into it. And just when you think that it was ending, it's going to continue. So definitely looking forward to that and seeing what happens with that. Can't wait to see what happens, man. Like they just found a way to just flip it. I remember when people kept saying like the Bloodline storyline is going to be over. And I think Paul Heyman said, hey, we're just in the third inning or something like that. And everybody was like, what? What are you talking about? WrestleMania happened, all the stuff. WrestleMania was coming up at that time when he said that and all this stuff. And it's just like, it looks like this is going to continue. It doesn't look like this is going to end. So definitely going to be entertaining. But yeah, I don't know if anything else happened on SmackDown. Did anything else happen on SmackDown that you guys want to talk about?
Just that in the main event, it was Bayley defending the WWE Women's Championship against Naomi, and then the match ended in a DQ because Tiffany Stratton came out and took out both of them and looked very dominant, by the way, while doing it.
Really?
Yeah. So, I mean, I've never been a fan of the DQ interference in the championship matches for the main events. But if you're gonna do it, it has to have like a purpose to it to make the person who's actually doing the interfering look strong. And I think she looked strong in that exchange.
Okay. No, it's definitely interesting because Bayley, obviously, that's her first defense, right? Since winning at WrestleMania 40, Naomi picking up the win last week and stuff like that. So for her to get that opportunity, I like that because I kind of was worried about Naomi being lost in the shuffle with Jade Cargill coming in, Bianca there, Bayley winning. And Naomi was kind of taking losses. She lost to Tiffany Stratton a couple weeks ago. So to see her get her win back and then be in this title match, definitely I like that for her. And Tiffany Stratton already showing that she's already big time, right? Like if you watched any of her NXT stuff, you knew that she was good. But to be this main roster and have this impact and be in this type of I don't know if this is a triangle feud while Bianca and Jade are a tag team or whatever the case may be, but it sounds like it's looking good. I'll definitely check out the videos and check that out. But definitely WWE is hitting on all cylinders right now. Yeah. And I know we didn't talk about it last week, but where AEW is having all this confusion and
we don't need to get into all that negativity, bro. I've been getting into it. I've been commenting enough about it. I've been watching enough videos, responses to it. We all know how dumb it was. And when the ratings came out today, it pretty much proved everybody's point. They went right back to where they were 2 weeks ago. So it made no fucking sense. You got a ratings boost for 1 week, and now you're right back to where you were the week prior. So, what fucking point was it?
It's for a little pop, basically.
Exactly.
I can't believe that they did that.
And even if you have Jack Perry, because they have a pay-per-view this Sunday, AEW Dynasty, and now everyone is just expecting Jack Perry to come back and interfere in that match. At least not. I mean, now everybody expects it now, so it's just like because you aired the footage and you mentioned his name. I mean,
my only thing now is that just how does your roster look? One, that you have to even consider bringing back Jack Perry. That's number one, Jungle Boy. Number two, that you brought in Mercedes Moné, that you brought in Okada, and the numbers are basically the same.
I mean, I think it just goes. I mean, honestly, I think it just goes to show that, like, you can have all those 5-star matches, you can have all that athleticism, that stuff that we like, but it's just us that like it. Other people want other stuff. You can't just give them great matches. Other people want other stuff to go with their wrestling. I mean, there's an audience at WWE that really doesn't really care for the wrestling. They just care for the stories. So. WWE has a very broad audience that kind of like touches a little bit of it, gets a little bit of everyone, and they try to give a little bit of everything to everybody. So AEW just has just one kind of audience and one type of booking and one type of gear, and that's just for the wrestling enthusiasts. So
I just have one thing to say. At a time when Swerve is doing his best work, Swerve Strickland.
Yeah.
I just felt like all that video stuff and all the stuff that him and Joe have been doing, it was a disservice to those guys who have picked up the ball when MJF went down, Adam Cole's been out, and you're trying to usher in this new era of AEW that they keep talking about. And I just felt like that was a disservice to those guys who have been busting their ass trying to hold this company up with that title. And that's my main takeaway looking back at all that stuff with the video and just trying to be in the politics of all that stuff with Jack Perry and CM Punk and stuff like that. It's just like, I feel like it's just a disservice to those guys. That's my main takeaway from it.
Yeah. And by the way, I'm already predicting Swerve is going to win the title, but it's not going to be as special as it should have been. I mean, he might still get the pop and amongst the crowd, and he'll get the celebration and everything. But it's just like, it should be a lot bigger if it does happen. But I don't think it'll be as big as it should be.
Yeah, they I feel like they kind of let the air out the balloon with that whole video of CM Punk and Jack Perry, because it's like those guys are hitting on all cylinders. I love the intensity that Samoa Joe and Swerve are showing in their promos, their brawls, all that stuff. So to just have that happen, I'm just like, damn, man. Especially when I felt like they were having something special there, and now it's just kind of just gone. So definitely unfortunate, but big wrestling week. Definitely the draft is next week for WWE next Friday.
Let's go.
And then I believe it's on the 29th as well, then the following Monday, and then we head right into Backlash. Is Dynasty the same weekend as Backlash?
No. Dynasty is this Sunday.
The pay-per-view, right?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Dynasty is this Sunday. Yeah, I think Dynasty is this Sunday, and then
and then
the following Monday, the following Monday is Raw, and then Friday is when the draft starts, and then the following Monday after that is the second part of the draft. Yeah.
Okay. That's good. Okay. I thought it was like, wait, is this the same weekend that it's happening?
No.
But no. So we'll get into all that. We'll see what happens with AEW following out that. We'll continue on this road with WWE, ushering in new titles, ushering in new contenders. Definitely a action-packed time in wrestling right now, and I can't wait to talk about it. Can't wait to see what happens. Definitely going to catch up on SmackDown tonight and see what happened with that and get a little bit more in-depth in that. But thank you guys, as always, for joining me. Thanks for staying up late. And until next time, guys, thank you.
Yes, sir.
1, 2